smile. Okay, and we are here. Welcome, welcome. We're going to have Summer backstage for us. You want to say hi, bye?
Hi. Bye.
Hi. Thank you, Summer.
Hello.
And ta-da! Mr. Bryan Lucas announcing. I'm so glad you're here. I am so happy and honored to you sent me some 2 books that you had published of poems.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the covers, but
No, not on the files that I sent you.
that was a treat.
And this one.
Yes, that was so cool. So cool. Yeah. And you can still buy those, right?
Oh yeah, they're available on Amazon.
Cool. Hi, Cricket.
All you have to do is put in all about Scientology in the search, and it's the first thing that pops up.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a bonus.
Yeah. And
Cricket's here, Bryan. Can you see the chat too?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
I know I asked the same question last time when she was on, but I forgot the answer.
Yeah. I can see it right here. So
okay. Well, I was just kind of waiting, Cricks, for a couple more people. She says hi, Bryan.
Yeah, I see it. Hi.
Are you feeling better, Cricks? From last night? Hopefully she got plenty of rest and is feeling better. Because it's weird when she's not on there, isn't it? It's like an empty space.
It's like my body. I have sleep issues.
Yeah.
So I sleep. I'll sleep for a couple hours and then I'll wake up having to go to the bathroom and all that stuff, and stuff. So my body, I kind of wake up between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll, up for a couple hours and then wake up at, sleep for a couple hours, wake up at 6, and then I usually go through my day. So
that's how I sleep intermittently.
Yeah. And I have like sleep apnea. So that doesn't help. And my gastro issues kind of impact that, hence the pee break poet. It's what they were calling me when
what?
Pee break.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. I'd get up having to go to the bathroom and I'd see that chow was on and then I guess my body started getting used to it, and it's nice, being able to interact with the smaller group. I like the smaller chats.
Yeah.
There's something like being on, interacting with people on the larger channels and all that stuff. It's fun at times, especially if what they're talking about is entertaining and informative or whatever,
or fun.
Yeah, or whatever they are intending for that broadcast and everything, and and some are more, how can I put it? You just
you get lost in the crowd.
You can get lost in it, and like I was at the watching one Reese did tonight, and there was like a little over less than 200 people in there for a little while, and it was cool. It was really slow and everything, so but yeah. It's become part of my routine.
Right.
And, so.
And we love having you there, Cricks, to fill our late night void. But you know that. Hi, Marla. Welcome. Hi, Brooke. Welcome. So I guess we'll just go ahead and start.
Okay, we can start. Well, like one of my favorite quotes from Alice in Wonderland: "Start at the beginning, and when you get to the end, stop."
Yes, and you told me that today. And
yeah, I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. Like I told you earlier, the Disney cartoon used to disturb me as a kid. And then I got to, I read the book and I got to watch it, as I was growing up. And then I watched it Tripping on Acid one time, and it was hilarious. Yeah,
I saw that movie Xanadu. Remember Xanadu?
Oh, the one with Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, and had a bunch of like lasers and stuff.
Yeah,
I saw that on acid.
Actually, one of the poems in this that are published in this, I actually wrote "Coming Down" off of an acid. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
So I was born. I am the third of 4 children. And my family is from West Virginia. It's kind of be kind of rude, but you know how West Virginia is shaped? It's got the little two handles. Well, my family's from the Panhandle, that's more towards Maryland and Virginia, up near where Morgantown and all that stuff is. So and
north.
So, it's the little east part of the state, and I that's where my extended family's from. So I come from a hillbilly stock, but I was raised here in rural Arkansas.
That's still hillbilly, Brian. I hate to break it to you. I'm joking. I have to say it.
No, I joke and say I'm hillbilly stock, redneck raised.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So I was born in 1972 in Fairmont, West Virginia, and when I was a little over a year old, my parents, along with my 2 older brothers, a set of foster children, and a set of foster kids. So there was 6 of us all together.
6 kids?
6 kids and parents. So there was 8 of us all together. My dad needed a job because of all the kids. And my great uncle was the pastor of the local Church of Christ.
In Arkansas.
In small town, rural BF, Arkansas.
Okay.
So this was the early 70s. Here's very strange until band goes. So they moved us out here, and my dad got a job as the maintenance guy at the school. Right. So he worked on the school and he drove buses and stuff like that. That's what he did while he was here. Then at 4 years old, my parents' marriage blew up. Dad moved back to West Virginia. We stayed here.
Wow. So your mom
actually it was one of the best decisions my mom ever made.
Okay.
Staying here.
That's a lot of kids for one woman to.
Well, she didn't keep all of them. Two of the foster kids went back.
Oh.
With 2 of the foster kids went back. I guess they went into the system or whatever. I don't know the details.
I got you.
And I'm going off of vague memories and what I've gathered over the years and stuff like that. So
that's fine.
So so then because my dad was my mom's second marriage.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom, God bless her, bless her little heart, as we say in the South. She had a bad picker. Yeah, very, very bad. Of course,
that's one way to put it.
Yeah, well, my parents, and let's go back to the beginning, okay? Because I see my life as your lives are. I see it kind of like a 3-act play with a prologue, right? Okay, the prologue is my parents.
Okay.
And my dad, his name was Harold David Lucas. Everybody called him Buck.
Okay.
He was born in 1939. It was a very, he almost killed my grandmother in childbirth. He was huge. He was a huge kid, huge, got made fun of because of it. one of the, and my grandpa was really cruel to him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was screwed right from the start. When he was born, where he was born, they didn't have the medical. They didn't have the medical. The knowledge or whatever care or
facility.
Facilities. Because he was born in the hollows.
Gotcha.
So, and then my mom was born in 1947. She's like, early baby boomer, because my grandpa and her dad and her mom were sweethearts before World War II. And I think grandpa was 16 when that happened. And he lied to join the Marines. He was part of the island hopping campaigns, saw a lot of crap, PTSD, shell shock, battle fatigue, whatever, all that stuff. And my mom was sheltered.
Oh, okay.
She didn't know anything about life.
So she had a bad kicker.
That's one of the yes, and so my grandparents, where and when they were having their first set of kids, because they had 3 sets of kids, right? Both my parents' families they had like 11, 12 siblings each.
Oh my gosh.
Big families, right? For God's sakes, my grandma was pregnant with several of her last kids, while my mom and her older sister were pregnant with their first kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they had 3 sets of 4, and my mom was part of the first set, and it kind of changed a little bit with the times and all that stuff. So my mom always told me that she was sheltered, and that that led to bad, I guess, yada yada yada. It's you can check it's textbook in a lot of ways. Right. So she got married to her first husband, had 2 kids, got a divorce.
Wow.
Met my dad through her sister, because her sister was married to one of my dad's friends.
Okay.
Then he adopted my 2 brothers.
Right.
So her first husband gave up his kids.
Right. As my dad did the same, and my stepfather adopted me and my sister.
So when we get into where the first act begins, I'm born. We move out here. When I'm 1976, I'm 4. I saw, from what I understand, there was a lot of my dad was he dealt with his problems with alcohol.
Okay.
He was mean to my mom.
So they got divorced, and he left.
Yeah, they got divorced. There's a lot of alcohol, from what I remember. And what I've gathered, there was a lot of alcohol-fueled violence. I remember a lot of fear, being afraid as a 4-year-old boy.
Because of all the fighting, yeah.
With all that crap that was going, because I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
Well, of course not. Yeah.
And I'm a naturally introverted person, right? My mom always told me that I never cried just to cry as a baby.
You were a good baby.
Yeah, I was a good baby, and now I know that a lot of my tendencies are not only the result of my natural predispositions, but they were reinforced negatively by what happened.
Your upbringing, yeah.
Yeah, my upbringing wasn't. It could have been worse. We never starved, but I know that my mom, after my dad said, because my mom probably went hungry, so we didn't have to, because she worked her butt off, because she had to get a job and all that stuff. So it was kind of like, no supervision. She had to do what she had to do.
Right, exactly. And mothers usually do that.
and
Most mothers.
and then she, she had boyfriends and all that stuff. And
Excuse me.
and her third husband, they were married only a couple months. He was a drunk.
Oh wow.
And then comes along my sister's dad, younger than my mom.
Interesting.
The only good thing that came out of that was my sister. He was also an alcoholic. So the first 13 years of my life, I dealt with a lot of alcohol-fueled violence. My sister's dad, I remember him almost killing my mom twice.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and the second one, I was there, I blocked that out. The first one I remember, we were out in North Carolina because he was in the military, right? He was in the Army, and this was early 80s. We were there from 81 to 84.
Okay.
And if his Army buddies hadn't been there, because they were partying and everything, and he's a young, very insecure person, and he's great when he was sober. When he liked the whiskey.
Probably got jealous when he was drinking.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons behind all that. But my sister was born. We moved back here, and then he's out of the picture. He moves, because he goes out of state where he's from, and so that kind of ended that type of
family life.
That type of family life, because mom never married any drunks after that, but of course she didn't.
What's other problems?
She was married a total of 7 times.
Oh, bless her heart. Oh my.
Yeah, and the best one was her 6th marriage, and we'll get to that. So her 5th husband was killed in a car accident in 1991, which turned out to be a good thing. That was a good and bad thing, because he turned out not to be a very nice person, from what I found out later.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I saw a lot of chaos, a lot of fear, and it didn't help that the geopolitical times too, because I grew up around the Church of Christ. Okay. Very, very apocalyptic version of the Church of Christ. The hellfire and brimstone. When Marilyn the other day was doing doing that thing, doing her things about the eclipse and that stuff, it was very triggering to me.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It talks about a lot of the stuff that she talks about is exactly the kind of stuff that I was taught.
Yeah. My mom, like, she for some reason had great intuition. I think it was intuition about the different, church. I grew up mainly in Texas, but in the South, and we were Southern Baptist. But she had always said that the Church of Christ, the Pentecostals, and there were several others, and she called them cults.
Yeah.
She might have said that to scare us, not to stray that direction, or I don't know if she truly thought they were cults, but she wanted to put the fear of us.
When in the late 70s, see, because one of the ways my mom coped with her life was she threw herself into the church, right? Especially when things were going bad with my dad.
Right.
And, so I was forced to go to church up until about, I was like 6, right? And then for some reason, she stopped making me go.
Wow.
And by, I was like, good, because I knew I knew I knew there was something wrong with Santa Claus at 5 years old, because I remember seeing people bring in presents. I was sleeping on the couch and I woke up and I remember bringing in presents There's and the same way with what I was being taught from my
You were
religious
seeing one thing and being taught another thing, probably, huh?
Yeah, as far as the religious stuff goes, I had too many questions, especially, I learned in school, in history class that we have records of, things from tens of thousands of years ago. Yet I'm hearing on Sunday that the earth is 6,000 years old.
Right.
And I take a more secular view of that too. And as far as my own spirituality is leans along more of a Buddhist line. That's I'm an agnostic
with that.
Yeah, like I'm an agnostic. And so to get back to that, yeah. So I was fed a lot of hellfire and brimstone. It was the height of the Cold War. I lived near one of the largest training Air Force bases in the world, and at that time there were several missile installations around here. So we were a prime target.
Okay.
Right. If there was a nuclear exchange, because people were worried about that.
Okay.
And they tied
that's in Arkansas that you're talking about? Okay.
That's in Arkansas. I live near Little Rock, Jacksonville Air Force Base. It's a 45-minute drive, from me. And that's where they train all the C-130 pilots and stuff. So I see them all the time. They come through here daily. And at that time, there were 2 Titan missile installations less than 3 miles from me.
Whatever that means.
The missile silos, nuclear missile silos.
Where they're just waiting to push the button?
Where they were just waiting to push a button and yeah. And we knew we were a prime target.
Okay.
So
you had that fear.
Yeah, there was that fear. There was that fear of, and it was a fear of Jesus coming back, that Old Testament.
Sorry, I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Okay.
That means
so anyways, so there was a lot of fear and a lot of chaos and instability and all that stuff during those early years of my life.
Right.
And then in high school was I graduated. I went to a very small town, so I graduated with 13 people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I started kindergarten with most of them, went through school except for those years where I was in North Carolina. I came back here and finished out that here. So and I was the weird one. Didn't fit in a lot of ways. It didn't help that my family was outsiders.
Right.
We and most of the families around here have been around for generations. So you get all that stuff, and then so the first act of my life ends about through high school.
Okay. So it's a little bit rocky of a childhood, I would say.
Very rocky, very rocky.
But you made it through.
Made it through it, but with the emotional scars,
right?
And all that stuff. So, the second act, I'm currently at the end of it, because from getting out of high school to now has been it's been an up and down journey. I went to college for a while, but never got my degree. And then in my mid-20s, I drifted from job to job.
Okay.
And then when I was 30, I joined the Navy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Now,
got married.
what made you do that at that late date, at that age?
Uh, uh, well, a friend of mine, guy I graduated with,
Excuse me.
had joined about a year or so, about almost a year before. And this was, I came to this decision in August of 2001. Right. And you know what happened in September of 2001?
Yes.
Okay.
We
So
did.
I decided to join before that all happened. Because I was, my friend Greg, his name's Greg Bean. He had joined I graduated with him. He had joined the Navy about a year before.
Okay.
Well, I was living with his little brother, with his younger brother, and I didn't know what to do. I'd I wasn't really working. You know, my unemployment was drying up, and you know, he and I were
Seems like a pretty good choice.
well, he and I were sitting in the. We lived in this dinky little apartment, you know, and it was, you know, I was living pretty cheaply, and he and I were sitting there smoking a joint, and he was like, "Man, don't discount what I'm about to say, but you need to do what my brother did."
Oh, wow.
It was like all the you know, it was like my brain went, poof. You're right. Maybe I should.
Huh.
So I had to do a little evaluating and all that stuff, and then I decided to. So I had to clean up and lose weight and all that stuff, and I was in the process of starting that. Actually, when September 11th happened, I was on when the planes hit. I was actually running on a track, getting in shape, right? And then I go out to my truck, and I turn on the truck and the radio, and I'd listen to this morning show where they were, you know, they were really, really, you know, you could tell when, you know, the vibe was different,
Right.
yeah, and stuff. And then that's when I heard about that. So you know, people were asking me, "You still going to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? You know, I ain't got nothing better to do."
They really needed you now.
Well, not I needed the military more than the military needed me.
Right.
Yeah, because I basically joined to get my crap together. And
it's good to have that option.
Yeah, and I did for a while, and then I got married.
While you were in the military, you got married?
Yeah, I got married. I was 35. I met my ex-wife on eHarmony.
Ah, the eHarmony.
Yeah. I no more. I don't do online. You know, I'm a one and done type person.
You're a what?
A one and done type person.
Okay.
And so that's why I was like, don't plan on getting married again. Done it once. It was a disaster.
Same here. I was married one time, and that ruined it for me.
I would rather just live with someone.
I'd rather not live with somebody.
Well, right, you know, it's being well, how can I?
You're a lot younger than me, though, so.
Well, yeah, I'm 52.
I can understand, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I was married for 10 years, and then I was not happy. I hate to admit it. One of the reasons I married her is because I didn't think I could do any better. I never had a good. I never had a good experiences growing up. You know those checks that, you know, those benchmarks, those water, you know, those things that are supposed to happen. You know, never happened for me. You know, first of all, I graduated with 18 people.
Right.
And
Right.
4 of them were girls. 4 of them were girls, and none of them had any interest in me. I didn't have a dating pool.
Right.
So I didn't get to learn. And then in my 20s, I was still a teenager, still a kid, still trying to find myself and all that stuff. And, and then by the time I'm in my mid 30s, I didn't have my first real girlfriend. I'd fallen in love and had a few flings and all that stuff in my 20s.
Yeah.
Got my heart broke, but I didn't have my first real relationship until I was like 33, 34.
Okay.
And then I get married at 35.
Right.
Not making the best decisions, So, and then
live and learn.
live and learn. So come at the I was separated from the military after 12 years because of height weight standards.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, they change them or something?
No, well, they don't do it as much these days, if I'm not mistaken. But when I was in, they had this policy: if you're a certain age, you have to be a certain body fat percentage.
Oh, okay.
Right? If you're at a certain height, they take your neck measurements and your waist measurement, right? And they take the difference between that, take your height, and on a chart, whatever that number that's left over, they look for that number, and that tells you what percentage body fat you are according to their chart.
Right.
So if you have a skinny neck, it skews your results, right? So that was something I fought with the entire time I was in the Navy. So that eventually got me kicked out, but I didn't lose my benefits or anything like that. I got an honorable discharge.
Cool.
Yeah. And so when I got separated, we moved to San Antonio because I was in New Mexico when that happened, stationed on shore duty there at the White Sands testing station there. And we moved to San Antonio, and it was not good. Not good. And one of the reasons I stayed with her is because I made an obligation.
Right.
And there was always this hope that it would get better.
Yeah. Hopefully. We always think, maybe they'll change
and then of course there's that little thing in the back of my head, I can't do any better. Well, then come after it was 2017, my best friend gets diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
He's homebound, disabled, doesn't have any help. My ex had just gotten her master's, was working 2 jobs. We had my disability. We were living with her parents.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm going to go help my buddy. I'm going to help my friend. Well, she didn't like that too much. Okay. I went anyways, and I did not go back. I'm one of the few people in the world that can say someone getting cancer saved their life.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to report he's cancer free now.
Oh, yay.
So that turned out well there.
The whole situation turned out okay for everybody.
Yeah, well, not for her. Maybe not for her, because I'm not there. I was not there to be her go-between for her parents and be her slave. I called I joke with people and call myself her slave, and they just look at me like they were the feeling sorry for me. I remember her, my brother telling me because her grandpa, her grandfather actually lived in Arkansas for a while, and he'd come up here every once in a while, and he came by here, and he said that he was surprised that that she had found someone that would put up with her.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
that was that.
That was that. So I got
having kids, right?
No children, thank God. Thank God. She couldn't have any for one thing. She had CPOS, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Oh, I've never
So
heard.
her ovaries couldn't develop properly because there's a lot of cysts
Mm.
on her ovaries. So, and we actually tried a couple times to do fertility treatments and stuff like that, because
wow.
we could get them in the military. You can get them for free.
Oh.
I think we had to pay like a little processing fee for the for a few things for the lab to process my sample.
Right.
But yeah, that never took.
Wow.
So
that was probably for the better, for sure.
Yes, it's for the best, because if I had a kid with her, I'd probably still be with her.
Right. Miserable.
Miserable. Yes, miserable. So by the end of 2017, I was divorced. I got married in 2007, and by the end of 2017 was divorced. Okay. And then I moved home, and I lived with my brother for a little while, and thank God he moved. Yeah, because I live now in my family home. Yeah, one of the two best decisions my mom ever made in her life. The first one was staying here. Second one was buying some land here.
Right.
So that's where I live. I live in lately I've been working on cleaning it up.
Yeah, I saw you had that posted on Facebook.
Yeah, because the past several years have been so I got divorced in 2017. Lived with my brother he and I lived together for a year, and then he moved out. And so I've been on my own basically since 2018. Actually, since Halloween 2018, when he moved out.
You mean living by yourself?
Yeah, living by myself.
With your dogs?
With me and my dogs. Yeah. In late 2018, I met my ex-girlfriend. Of course, I was not, at the time, I was not right in the head. I was still dealing with my disastrous marriage.
Right.
Still dealing with things, and it didn't.
Still too raw for you, probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feels like up in my bedroom.
Wow.
Besides, he doesn't like the camera, anyways. No, and
your dog doesn't like the camera.
Yeah. It didn't help at that time. It didn't help that I was kind of strung out.
No,
so when you stay up too long and stuff like that, it doesn't help your judgment.
Right.
And I met my ex-girlfriend through I was working for a delivery service, and I met her through there, through that, and see, come 2020, when the pandemonium happened, she and I started having some problems. And then
we're living together at that time?
No, we weren't living together.
Oh.
Yeah, we weren't living together. And we started having little issues. I had injured when I was in the Navy. I injured my neck and some other muscles when I was out at sea. That's one of the things I get my disability for. And I re-injured that. And then my brother died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my oldest brother, the one I'd lived with, he died.
Bless your heart.
And then this was Labor Day weekend of 2020. I flipped out.
Oh, okay.
I'd gotten a hold of some pretty good
stuff.
Break? Yeah, yeah. I basically had a pretty all this, everything. It just, I flipped out, and she used it as an excuse to kick me to the curb.
Okay.
It didn't help that she strung me out for 2.5 months. I finally had to ask her, "Are we going to ever talk?" Right before Thanksgiving, and she said, "No, I can't get over everything." Okay, well, she's
That's one
supposed
way
to
of
love
putting it, huh?
Yeah, so I didn't deal with that in a healthy way.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I was not in a so for 2021, 2020, and most of 2022, yeah, I was not in a good place. Not in a good place at all. And then in 2022, summer 2022, I got into an accident. Car accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, nothing happened to my car, but I had I because of that I ended up exiling myself from the world. You know, it was kind of easy to do. I had to give up my car because I couldn't afford it.
Right.
I'm not working regularly for a lot of reasons. I was, the delivery service I work for is one of those food delivery places, food apps, kind of like Grubhub or DoorDash, Uber Eats. It was called Bite Squad, and they changed their management to where I was not getting enough hours, and I was just, like I said, I wasn't right in the head.
Right.
And so I gave up my car and I decided to scrape everything down to bedrock, learn how to live off of my disability, what stable income I have. And then, and I actually talk a little bit about it in the introduction to this.
Okay.
So I start watching a lot of true crime and stuff on YouTube. Yeah.
We love our true crime.
And then that led me to Andrew Gold.
Aha.
Which led me to Aaron Smith-Levin.
Ah, that was your way in.
Yes, that was my way into SPT. But if we want to talk about that, Going Clear was actually where it started. I remember watching Going Clear. It came out. It was early 2015 on HBO, and I watched it when it premiered because and it was just fascinating. I just sat there and didn't go to the bathroom, didn't do anything. I just sit there and watched it.
Because it's hard to believe, like
that
was real, huh? Like blew my mind.
Yeah, so Going Clear, and then the Aftermath show in 2018. I binge watched that on Netflix. And then, it was just like, okay. And then, all it took was the Danny Masterson trial. Because I started watching the true crime.
Right.
Andrew Gold covered it. And then the rest is, all downhill from there, and then that's when I also started to, so late 2022 was when I started my YouTube channel.
Okay.
From to feature my poetry. It's just like, okay, what am I? I started writing. I started writing when I was 16 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Right. I used to dip I used to dip smokeless tobacco.
Skull.
Skull. Yeah. Where and when I grew up, it was not uncommon.
Right.
Link, please.
Out loud.
So I've been addicted to nicotine all my life. But
I don't understand what she's saying. Link, please, out loud. What's that mean?
What, to my channel?
Oh yeah. What is your channel?
Oh, it's called From a Poet. It's basically it's from a poet.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
who would have thought of that?
yeah. Who knows about that?
Thunk.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was 2022?
No. Well, yeah, late 2022 is when I started my channel,
Right.
and then and at the same time I started writing a lot and watching YouTube.
Right.
And then but to get back to when I was 16 years old,
When you started writing.
when I started writing, I'd read a little bit, a little, there, here or there, or whatever. And then my mom had got me an electric. I'd started taking typing, keyboarding in school, and my mom had gotten me an electric typewriter.
Yeah. Smith and Corona.
Oh no, it was old Xerox.
Mine was a Smith and Corona.
No, it was this ugly yellow. I think it was an IBM. It was just this ugly. You could kill, if you knock somebody in the head with it, you kill them with it. It was a metal thing, and to get my mind off the withdrawals, because I decided to quit dipping. So to get my mind off the withdrawals, I started writing.
Ah.
Yeah, so that
was a healthy trade-off.
Yeah, it was. And then a year later, I started smoking weed and started smoking cigarettes in order to cover up the smell of weed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, and I actually used weed to help quit smoking cigarettes. Okay.
I believe it.
Yeah, well, this was before I joined the military, right? I was living with my roommate, the guy who's my friend's brother. His name was John. I was living with John Dean, and it was when I was on unemployment, right? And I made enough to pay, I got enough for that to pay bills and all that other stuff, but I needed to cut some expenses somewhere. And a little bit before this was right around the time I turned 29. A little bit before this, my another friend of mine took my blood pressure, and I was just standing, I was just sitting there, and my blood pressure was high. It's like, man, you might need to go to a doctor. I was like, oh, okay. So that was the thing and I'd been thinking about it, right? I'd been thinking about it. Anyway, so I woke up. It was kind of an organic decision. I smoked my last cigarette before I went to sleep, and I decided the next morning I wasn't going to go buy any.
Good for you. It worked?
The way I went about it was I would get stoned and I'd go to sleep.
Oh, kind of hard to smoke when you're sleeping.
Exactly.
I do it all the time. That's why I have so many burns on my bedding.
So I'd gotten through, I got through the initial withdrawals and everything like that. And I weaned myself for about a week. Like I knew a lot of people who smoked, so I'd bum the cigarette off of them, smoke half of it, and throw it out. And then I smoked my last half cigarette, and I haven't had one of those since.
Wow, good for you.
Then this was in 2001. Then in 2005, I discovered the pleasures of Cuban cigars.
Oh.
Let me get a good Cuban with a glass of wine or a nice liquor or whatever.
Martini.
Well, I don't like the clear stuff. I like a good whiskey or something like that. So yeah, and then I got married, and then I started smoking regularly again, cigars.
Okay.
And then when I moved in with her family, and after I got kicked out, it was back on full blown. But I didn't smoke cigarettes. I smoked cigars.
Right.
And then it took me a while. I found a source for some. I'd also use cigars to cover up the smell of weed for dealing with, because I'd smoke weed to deal with the situation I was in.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah,
it's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle. Vicious circle. So,
but really not actually too bad. You could have been doing a lot worse things.
Yeah, because addiction kind of both of my brothers and I had problems with that. Well, I wouldn't say as far as drug addiction, I was lucky that I didn't dive deep into that. But both my brothers, unfortunately,
they're your half brothers, right?
my half brothers, my half brothers, like that's basically what killed my oldest brother. He liked to. And he had a total of 7 heart attacks. And it was the last, of course, it was the last one that killed him. Yeah. He was 54.
Wow. That seems so young to me.
Yeah. He was 54. He passed away in 2020. His official death date is like May 27th. But he had his heart attack. He was dead before he hit the floor on the 24th. So there's that, and then
wait, 24. That's 3 days difference.
Yeah, they
kept him alive on machines.
Kept him on a ventilator. They kept him on a ventilator that long because my sister and my mom, they live in Texas and they had to get up here and everything. And,
I get it. Yeah, I get it now.
They kept him on a ventilator for a couple of days. Yeah. And then, my sister, on the other hand, she did not experience a lot of the stuff that we did. Because her biological father was out of the picture when she was like a year and a half years old, a year and a half. So we didn't have that violence and that fear and all that other stuff. There was other instabilities going on, dysfunctional family and all that stuff, but that was not around.
Yeah, she got lucky.
So she got lucky. She's got her scars and all that stuff, but she didn't fall into that trap. For God's sake, she doesn't even smoke weed. Of course, she can't because, and she hardly ever drinks. Of course, she can't smoke weed because she's a nurse.
Okay.
She's very successful. She's, as far as I'm concerned, she has 4 kids and 4 kids, and is doing pretty good for herself, And
she's a single mother.
No, she's got a husband, and his first dude she was ever with.
Wow, good for her.
Good for her. It's rare these days.
Yeah, I should say so.
Yeah. So she turned out remarkably well.
That's good.
And it's part of because of Mom's husband, number 6, was a pretty good guy. He actually was a pretty good guy. Of course, they shouldn't have got married. They let religion get in the way because Mom in the 90s, Mom was working. She had that accident, and after that killed my stepdad at the time, and then after she recovered, because she and I were going to school together at the same time. She's in her early 40s. She got her GED.
Oh wow!
And because she had to quit. She had to quit school in I think she was 15. She quit school because my grandpa was in an accident because he was a coal miner.
Oh wow!
And he was in an accident and he couldn't work, so it came upon her because grandma was raising the kids,
Right.
So mom had to go work. So she eventually got her GED.
Yeah, well, good for her.
And she and I were attending college at the same time when she had her accident.
Okay.
So after she recovered from that, she went back to school. And during that time, she found out that the first branch of the Mormon Church,
oh Lord,
actually take root
talking about the Mormons,
stay in Arkansas is 5 miles away from my house.
So what is?
It's 5 miles up the road from my house. Was where
What
the
is?
first, where it was where the first Mormon church.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Stay in Arkansas took root.
Okay.
Because usually what before that, what would happen was missionaries would come through, they convert people, and everybody would move to Utah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So she started doing research on it, make a good history paper. Started attending the services at where the new location is, right? And converted.
Got roped in.
Went native.
Wow. Is she married to a Mormon?
No. The guy that she married was not a Mormon. But he was religious, and they let that get in the way of practical matters, as far as whether they were compatible or not. And it didn't help that my two older brothers, he didn't like them, and that kind of in there. And he like me. I was living at home, and I was living here while they were, while all that was going on, and me trying to find myself. And one day he comes up to me and goes, "Bryan, you need to leave." I was like, yeah, and because he told mom that, mom was like, "No, you ain't kicking him out." And he goes, "No, I want him to stay. He needs to leave for himself." Because for God's sakes, I was 27, 28 years old.
Oh, okay.
The one time that I'd tried, the few times I'd tried to live on my own, I failed. So I had to move back home and all that stuff, and just trying to find myself. And he didn't want my two older brothers around because but because they didn't help out, blah blah blah.
Right.
Me, on the other hand, more responsible. I don't know. So.
Were you writing poetry at that time?
Yeah, I've been writing. In my 20s, I was pretty productive. And then in my 30s, I got a block. I was not as productive. And then in my early 40s, I took some online classes to to help me with that block. And then when 45 hit, it kind of the floodgates hit because
okay.
Yeah, like one of the ones in here is called and here I sit. It's about that. It's at that time I used like, okay, 45, you're taking that turn towards the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not guaranteed 80, you're not guaranteed 70.
Right.
You're not even guaranteed 50. So whatever you got left, it's the last part. So you might as well make the best of it.
Yep.
That was one of the things that gave me the courage, I guess, the drive to get the hell out of San Antonio.
Okay.
That was because I've been wanting to for a while. And then, of course, I got the opportunity to leave there, get some distance. When
you took it.
And I took it. So yeah. But lately I've been more productive as far as my writing and everything goes.
Like the past how many years? Past couple of years, you mean? Or
past 5 or 6 years? Yeah. 5, 6, 7 years.
Cool.
And I actually feel like a writer.
Well, you are.
Well, I didn't really feel like and and there's still issues with that. The imposter.
I
If
understand.
I'm
I
sitting
understand.
here, if I'm sitting here writing something and it's just bullshit, I don't like it. It's just like, why am I doing this? Or of course, if I haven't come up with something for a while, and then I write something like on depression, that one poem that I had I had Cricket read. Okay, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a couple weeks ago. It's that one came
Yeah, I
about.
didn't see that.
Okay, I can recite it for you if you want.
Okay.
It's called On Depression. It goes, depression is a funny thing, or depression is funny. It can take on many forms. Mine has been the state of my yard, overgrown and thick with weeds and sticker bushes. I told myself it was a garden for wildflowers, a home for cute little critters. But there are briars and brambles in their bushes, and they draw blood when you start clearing them out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's cute. Like
yeah. So it's just I'll come up with this but yeah, I feel more like a writer, more like and and then people call me poet, and I actually I don't mind it.
It's a good nickname.
Of course that's what I am.
Yeah.
I'm not the best poet in the world. I'm not the worst.
There's always greater and lesser.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything out of this you want me to read?
I like that. Well, there were several in there I liked. I liked the New Orleans one, like I told you. And you want to read that one?
Actually, I would rather read. Let's see.
Out of the Scientology one.
No. Yeah, let me read the one from New Orleans. Okay. It's called Peddlers and Prognosticators in Jackson Square. I wrote this one after my first trip to New Orleans.
You know how to say it right too.
New Orleans. Well, I was stationed in Mississippi, just right down the road, for several years. Okay. So the first time I went there was in 2000. It was around Mardi Gras time, and I went down there because of a friend of mine who was visiting a mutual friend of ours that lived down there, and I was like, I'm going down to visit, so I did. Kind of invited myself.
All right.
And this was my impressions. I wrote this after I came back.
Okay.
It goes. Let me clean my glasses here. Yeah, I used to wear glasses. I started wearing glasses when I was 9.
Oh.
And I got my eyes fixed when I was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was worth joining right there.
Yeah, I bet.
These days I have to wear readers.
Right.
So it goes here. It goes. It's called Peddlers and Prognosticators in Jackson Square. And it goes, the wind blew off the Delta, cool and sweet with the smell of New Orleans. The freaks danced through Jackson Square while peddlers hawked their wares, seers sold their fortunes, and streets musicians played their hearts out. A note for a dime, a song for $1. A bag lady sat on the steps to Jackson Square Park. The black wrought iron gates locked for the evening, and St. Paul's Cathedral was closed to visitors. There was no sanctuary here. My first taste of New Orleans, but not my last. The French Quarter in all its drunken majesty was opening up as night fell. Revelers scrambled for colorful plastic beads. Lovers walked hand in hand. Drunks nursed cups of beer. It was everything I'd expected, and much, much more. New Orleans, city of magic, city of magic and mystery, city of corruption, city of culture and life. I fell in love with one look, one drink of the water, one breath of the air, so tragic in your beauty, the dirt and grime painting a portrait adding color and life. The laughter of the crowd, the songs of the street musicians, the call of the police sirens, all a symphony to a country boy's ear. I sat there on the mesh metal bench, looking around, drinking all of this in, wandering, dreaming, seduced by it all. I knew I had to leave soon, had to go back to my mundane life, had to continue my journey, but I knew I'd return, come back to revisit the magic, to relive this tragic beauty that lives on the Mississippi Delta.
I like that. Isn't Jackson Square? Can you see? You can be at Cafe Du Monde, and isn't
I
that
think
one across from
it's
Jackson
been a
Square?
while. It's been a while since I've been there. The last time I was there was 2015. Yeah, me and my ex had went to on vacation there, but yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff off of Jackson Square.
Yeah.
And it's the scene is exactly as I painted it. I was wanting to go to the park. It was late, so it was closed, and they were doing renovations because right across the square is St. Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah,
They're doing renovations, closed to visitors and stuff. And it's a nice place. I want to go back down there sooner rather than later, partially to meet Marcus because Marcus Sawyer lives down there.
I don't know who that is.
He's an ex-Scientologist.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a friend with Doug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they did a bunch of stuff together and stuff.
By the time I started watching and coming in the chats and stuff, I had seen Doug, but I hadn't watched him much.
Yeah.
And then he passed, and that's when cricket came on the scene, and that's when I really started like getting into it.
Well, I'm an old school. I remember SPT before. I remember I was there when the first person coined it.
Now I remember that too. It was on Aaron's channel, right?
Yeah. I was there. I was in the chat there because
I don't think I was talking, but I remember that day. And it was before he had his sign.
Yeah. So a lot of things have changed in a year.
Oh yeah, but I think for the better, don't you?
I don't know.
Protesters have made it better, I think.
It's like with anything, you have to grow and you have to evolve.
Yeah.
And
you have to have change.
And growth is not pretty, and it can
be painful too.
Very painful, and like I said in that poem, it draws blood. It can draw blood. When you start, you just with anything, but I have a good feeling. As far as all that goes.
The direction it's going.
Yes, the direction it's going, and whatever sides are you're on, well, whatever, it's we're all here. We're all here for our own reasons. We all watch it or involved for our own reasons, and as long as we remember that, and
as long as we don't expect too much of
people,
others too,
because we got to remember that this is when I remember this when I was on 4 ships when I was in the Navy, right? My third one, the Normandy, when I was checking on board, the guy who was taking me around was taking me up to to see the captain, because when you check on board, the captain, you go, one of the last things you do is you say hi to the captain and introduce yourself, and he may have thought I was a little nervous. He goes, "Remember, man, he squats to poop too." He said it in slightly wrongier terms.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you got to remember. We're all human. People have flaws, and it's not to put these people on pedestals.
Yeah. Yes.
And just
absolutely.
and remember that, this, this is a big part of my life right now. If I hadn't had this community over the past couple of years, when I'm trying to enter that third act, because I've spent the last 30 years dealing with the first 20.
Right.
And I'm at that point to where my last 20 or 30, I want to live.
Right. And you're
And
getting to that point to where you can.
Yeah.
Huh? It's like,
I'm getting to that point where I'm more secure enough here. Of course, there's
That's
always
great.
dealing with that. And so that's what this, and finding this on YouTube, the YouTube communities, starting my channel, getting back into my writing, and
all of those steps.
Yeah, all that steps. And it's I'm after I got to get a few things taken care of, but I plan on being back in school here soon.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the reasons I cannot go on the cruise, which I really want to go.
Next time, next.
Well,
week.
hopefully the next thing will be at a resort. That way I can just drive.
I think that's what.
I think that is the plan. Hi, Tampa. All right, do you want to take some questions, or
sure.
Or I can read something. I can read something else. It just depends on.
Well, it's up to you. This is your.
Okay. Well, I mentioned that one here. In this one here. This is that one that I was talking to you about. I wrote about. Here.
About what?
Oh, I want to read that one. And here I sit. That one about turning 45.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's for my chapstick. My lips are so chapped for some reason. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, it's called "And Here I Sit." It's subtitled "My Mortality Meditation."
Ah.
And he goes, "And here I sit midway through this life, this old worn cliche that I found to be true, that fate fashioned this way, like it was already writ down on that ephemeral page. The single sheet we gets shorter age by age. This life, this one and only. Okay, this life, this one, only one, this one and only that's been. This one, only this, else none. A puzzle complete, not finished again. And here I sit in my mind, my intellect, in my core. I know all around I'll find, as now, as will be, as before. A story told over and over, told since time's fiery dawn. A tale told then, now, and ever. A tale all tread upon. Not new, profound, no it's not. It's been said, all's been done. And lives remembered until forgot. In this life, this only, this one. And here I sit, I think, I ponder, mull over, meditate, analyze. This life, which I wander, with which I wither, I thrive, has made its turn towards our fate, which go I must. Past, slow motion, future, fast forward, memories carved in so much dust that without notice nor warning, that on the merest of whim, the tick-tocks, time's turning, the end, the inevitable end.
Cool.
Yeah, that one's actually not done.
Oh, it's not?
No. It's done, but it's not. It's,
Oh.
well, I want to write a fourth part to it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's 3 section, because it starts and here I sit, and here I sit, and here I sit, and it's about us being not special, but special because we're not special. Yeah, I still got to work on it. Still got to work on it.
Well, what you have so far is good, and it could be finished, but
yeah, that's how it kind of that's it's it's complete, but not. All right. I'll read a few out of this one too.
Okay.
As some haikus here.
Now, haikus are 575.
575.
575.
Yeah, Japanese form, short form poetry, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. And Scientology kind of lends itself to it because it's a 5-syllable word, Scientology. Yeah, I was about a year ago, actually a little over a year ago. Aaron was messing around with Chat GPT. That's that AI. That artificial intelligence thing, you can have it write stuff for you online. And the people in the chat, he was like having them do stuff, it's like, tell me what to have it do. So someone in the chat said, have it write poetry. And specifically limericks and haikus, making fun of Scientology. And I was thinking, oh, it's good. It's pretty good. But I was like, it's a machine. It has no soul.
Right.
So I was laying in bed. I was laying in bed, and suddenly my eyes open and my brain goes, Bryan, Scientology is a 5-syllable word.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I came in here, and because I was in there, I came in here to my notebook, and I wrote this one. And I call it goes, Scientology, give up all your money and humanity too.
That's for sure, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I started, and then I started writing some limericks.
What's a limerick? What's the difference?
Limerick is a rhyming form of poetry. It goes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I know what a haiku is.
With the limerick, it was actually named after a town in Ireland, Limerick, Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an Irish form of poetry. It's little witty little verses, and it has
short.
It has the first 2 lines rhyme with the last line, and the third and the fourth line rhyme. You got to hit those beats,
right?
The different beats. So, it's one of my favorites. This one's making fun of old DM.
Okay.
It's called Captain COB.
Okay.
Version 4. I have several of them. And it goes, OCOB is said to be rather short, which gets him just a bit out of sort. What's the big fuss, my little homunculus? Why not smile and be a good sport?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
My sense of humor is weird, and coming up with these, they make me laugh, and it's just like, okay, they make it too easy, especially if someone like me can write poetry, making fun of them, they make it way too easy. way too easy.
It is so easy to make fun of them,
which is sad.
How did you like my my potato e-meter?
Oh, when I tried to click on it, it wouldn't come up.
It didn't. Oh no. I'm gonna have to check on it.
It went right straight to your channel, to your channel page, not to the specific video.
Oh, because I did it wrong then.
Maybe I don't know. Well,
I should always check. I should always check on those, and I don't even think to check.
You'll figure it out.
I'm learning. I'm telling you what, I am I'm so tech unsavvy.
I try to learn something new every day. So
well, me too, but I've been trying to learn how to make a short for 3 days now.
I don't even know how to do it.
Not figure it out.
I just recently learned how to clip out of a video.
I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on a second. I hear Phil.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. They all want to see him.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to bring him and show him to us. I think I have seen your dog one time before, but it was a long time ago. Well, let's see.
Come here. Come on up here. Let's see if you can see him. Come here. This damn webcam.
Puppy.
There he is. He's grooming on himself.
He's grooming.
I got to take him out
anyways. That his spot? Is that his spot or one of his spots?
One of his spots. That's one of his spots.
Yeah.
I got to take him out pretty soon here anyways. So. Yeah,
well, we can read or go through some of these if you want, or do you have another one you want to read? I thought we'd go off in about 8 minutes, if that's okay, and then.
Hey, I can. Is there any questions?
Yeah, I didn't see any. They all saying Phil. They didn't get to see him for very long.
Yeah, he's more concerned
Thanks
with
all 13 of y'all for being here so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
If you don't have any questions, just type them out, and then we'll check back after he reads.
Yeah, I want to read one more out of this. Okay. It's the one I want to read the one that I actually I can do this from memory. From the one that I wrote that I wrote coming down off acid.
Phil has to get camera ready.
Okay, this one I wrote it. It was Christmas Eve morning.
Okay.
Of 1993. I had my first attempt at living on my own, and
oh boy.
Yeah, I'd gotten some acid the night before.
Oh gosh.
And I was coming home. Hey George, you want to see George?
Sure.
You see George.
All the fur babies we love. Oh, what a sweet face.
Oh, what you don't.
Oh, now that's a sweet face.
He's my little Chihuahua mix.
So cute. So cute. How many do you have? 3?
3. Bella, come here. They need to go out. So I need to.
Okay. Well, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Let me go out with one.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
Let me go out with one that's called The Day She
Stood. Yeah, whatever you want to do.
It's really simple.
Okay.
It goes, the moon was out and all about was bathed in mystery. She went away on the day she stood at the edge of the sea.
You froze. Start over. Wait, you have to start over. You froze up.
Okay, I've been having problems with my internet too. Am I good now?
You're good.
Okay. It's called The Day She Stood at the Edge of the Sea. It goes,
okay.
The moon was out and all about was bathed in mystery. She went away on the day she stood at the edge of the sea. Look behind and you will find she left a husband and family. She didn't care. And she was there and nowhere else could be. In her face, you'll see that place. For her, it holds the key. Don't ask why. Just watch her fly as she stands at the edge of the sea.
Cute.
Yeah, I
Thank
need
you
to
so much.
get you guys out.
Okay, go let your puppies out, and we'll see you at Cricket's probably tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see.
Love you, Bryan. Thanks so much for coming on. This
All
was great.
Thanks.
And oh, he didn't freeze for them, only for me, I guess. But
Okay.
anyway, you guys, I'm going to sign out too. Summer, thank you so much for being backstage and helping out. And I love all you guys. And we'll see y'all later.
See you later.
Ta-da.